A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News here on TV1. Bringing you the news for the Newsfirst team. I'm John Fernando.
A very good evening. I am Rathnapura. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
CHENA remanded until the 30th, remains in hospital under protection of prisons department officials. Policy rates unchanged. CBSL to penalize 7 banks for flouting directives. External debt payment for 2020 nearly $4.8 billion. Newly appointed governor speaks about the IMF. Heavy rains jeopardize paddy cultivations. Revelations of a hidden stock of paddy. Negligent driving claims 5 lives. Aircraft carrying 100 passengers crash in Kazakhstan. 12 dead.
The results of the GCE Advanced Level Examination have been released. You can log on to the official website of the Department of Examinations to access the results. 335,704 candidates sat for the GCE Advanced Level Examination in August this year. In more local news, paddy fields and CHENA cultivation in many areas were completely destroyed due to the recently experienced inclement weather condition. Farmers point out that this destruction has left them helpless.
The Ampara district was severely affected by the incessant rains that battered the country recently. According to our correspondent, many farmlands in the Ampara district are destroyed. Over 1,000 acres of paddy fields in Konduwatuwana, Suduwalla, Waripathan, Karthivch and Saindamarudu was destroyed by the adverse weather. This is how the paddy fields in Saindamarudu and Konduwatuwana are still flooded. Farmers began this harvesting season with many hopes of reaping a good harvest. However, these hopes are all but lost.
Our paddy fields were destroyed by the drought before this. Now it is completely flooded by the rain. We cannot hope for any harvest from a field like this. We request the government to take action to address this issue.
Many paddy fields that fall under the Rajangane project have also been destroyed by the rain. This is the extent of damage caused to over 500 acres of paddy fields in Yala, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 12 and 14 regions. Our correspondent said that certain paddy fields are still flooded while other fields have been covered in sand.
There are about 300 cubes of sand in these paddy fields. It has been mixed with mud. Therefore, these farmers will have to clean this up again. The farmers have to go to a geological survey and mines bureau in Anuradhapura to get permission from them to remove this sand and then remove it. The farmers are helpless now.
රජයෙන් ලබා දෙන ඒ දාර මුදල ඉතා ඉක්මනින් ලබා දීමට රජය මැදිහත් වෙනවා නම් ඇත්තටම ගොවිතැන් කරන ගොවියෝ විදියට අපට ලොකු ශක්තියක් වෙනවා නැවත වගා කරන්න හරි.
Many paddy fields in the Trincomalee district are still flooded. Farmers from many villages including Kinnaya, Tabalagamuwa, Mulliposana and Surangal have been affected. According to these farmers, many of their paddy fields are completely destroyed. We inquired on this situation from the Hector Kobbakaduwa Agrarian Research and Training Institute. Director at the institute, Duminda Priyadarshana, said that this will severely affect the produce reaped in the Maha season. He added that the Agrarian Services Department and the Agricultural and Agrarian Insurance Board are assessing the damages caused to the paddy fields. He also said action will be taken to assist the affected farmers immediately after the assessment of damages is concluded.
Now, meanwhile, the prices of rice in the market was discussed at a media briefing convened by the All Ceylon Farmers Federation.
We can see that the government is now trying to import rice from overseas. Yesterday, Minister Anurayapa called me and gathered information about these stocks of rice from me. We presented all of the facts. We only need 3.6 million metric tons of rice every year. We produce 4.5 to 5 million metric tons of paddy. Therefore, there is still about 1.5 million tons of paddy in the country and the government must find this paddy.
මෙන්න මේ වී ටික ආණ්ඩුව හොයා ගන්න ඕනි.
මේ සතිය සමුදා ජනාධිපතිවරයා ගම්වතු
On Monday this week, the president travelled to Polonnaruwa to visit the people who were affected by the floods. When his helicopter landed in the field, it was the people involved in this rice mafia that welcomed him from the helicopter and escorted him from there. So you can understand now, during the previous regime, allegations were levelled against Dudley Sirisena, the brother of President Maithripala Sirisena. They say it was Dudley Sirisena who was heading this rice mafia. Now it has been 2 months since Maithripala Sirisena left office, but the government of Gotabaya Rajapaksa cannot even control the price of rice as much as the previous administration did.
ඔහුට තරම්වත් හාල් මිල පාලනය කරගන්න මේ ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාගේ ආණ්ඩුවට හැකියාවක් ලැබුණේ නැහැ.
5 people were killed and 28 others were injured in road accidents that were reported across the island. The accidents were reported from Dummalasuriya, Tangol, Horana, Boralanda and Udavalave.
3 people died and 2 others were injured in an accident that occurred opposite the Udavalave Sankapala Viharaya along the EMBILIPITIYA Rathnapura main road. A small lorry and an SLTB bus had collided with each other. The bus was plying from Kolanna to Colombo while the lorry was travelling from Rathnapura to EMBILIPITIYA. According to police, 5 people travelling in the small lorry sustained severe injuries and were admitted to the EMBILIPITIYA district hospital. 3 of them had passed away after being admitted to the hospital. The remaining 2 are currently receiving treatment at the EMBILIPITIYA district hospital. The deceased were residents of Padalangala, Kuttigala and Katunayaka. The victims were 44, 49 and 23 years old. The driver of the bus has been arrested. Police suspect the incident was caused after the driver of the lorry had fallen asleep at the wheel. 2 people were killed in Valipannagahamulla, Dummalasuriya after a motorbike collided with a bus. According to our correspondent, a private bus travelling from Nathandiya to Kuliyapitiya had collided head-on with a motorbike travelling in the opposite direction. The motorist and the pillion rider died on the spot. They were residents of Pannala and Uduvela, aged 35 and 33. 18 people were injured after a van fell into a drain in Anguruvatota, Horana. A group travelling from Gampaha on pilgrimage had faced this accident. According to our correspondent, 7 children are among the injured. 6 people were injured in an accident that occurred in Vallatangol along the Tangol-Hambantota main road. According to our correspondent, a bus flying from Tangol to Hambantota had collided with a vehicle travelling in the opposite direction. The people travelling in the other vehicle, who are residents of Beliatta, were injured in the accident. An infant and 2 children who are among the injured are being treated at the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital. Meanwhile, another accident was reported along the Boralanda-Haputale road. This is how a van had fallen off a 300-foot precipice in Rathnapura. 2 people were injured in the accident that occurred at 5:30 this morning. They are being treated at the Boralanda Regional Hospital.
The central bank, in its 8th and final monetary policy review for 2019, decided to maintain its stand-in deposit facility rate and the stand-in lending facility rate at their current levels of 7% and 8% respectively. Now, addressing the gathering, newly appointed governor of the central bank, Deshamanya Professor W.D. Lakshman, spoke about plans on engaging with multilateral agencies, including the International Monetary Fund.
I am committed to sustain and add to this institutional greatness. I must make particular reference to my immediate predecessor, Dr. Indrajit Kumar Swamy, who has contributed a great deal to re-establish the bank's respect within our socio-economic system. In the external sector, sluggish export performance, dependence on debt inflows in the absence of adequate levels of FDI inflows are major concerns. In this context, we hope to engage with the IMF and other multilateral agencies while remaining within the framework of our national policy.
The governor also spoke about the Washington Consensus, which refers to a set of free market economic policies supported by prominent financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank and the US Treasury.
than the neoliberal policy set we have been working on so far. I hope to be able to make my contribution in this search for alternatives, working together with the other authorities. Questions are being raised extensively about the validity and relevance of Washington consensus type or neoliberal type of policies to achieve the desired goals of inclusive development.
Governor W.D. Lakshman said Sri Lanka is expecting 4.0 to 4.5% economic growth in 2020 and a higher 6.5% growth beyond 2020. Director of Economic Research Chandranath Amrasekara said growth is likely to be around 2.7 to 2.8% in 2019. Senior Deputy Governor Dr. P. Nandanal Veerasinghe responded to questions raised by journalists.
Total debt service payments, external debt service payments for 2020 is around, I think, 4.8 billion US dollars, of which the financing plan, obviously that government will have to decide one large repayment out of this external debt service payment coming only October 2020, this repayment of one of the ISPs. This year we have raised sufficient amount of money to meet at least first few months of next year, so that we are in a comfortable position to meet the service payments of the government.
Senior Deputy Governor Dr. Veerasinghe also expressed the following views.
And there are some banks, those who are not complied with the direction in terms of basis points. From next week onwards, we will start imposing certain penalties or sanctions for banks, those who are not complied with this, because it's, for example, now there are 7 banks. Out of those banks, there are 3 big banks. They will have to bring down by more than 50 basis points by end of this year. If not, it will trigger certain kind of action that we have to discuss with the Monetary Board.
The Deputy Governor spoke about loan capital moratorium for small and medium-scale businesses.
Total debt service payments, external debt service payments for 2020 is around, I think, 4.8 billion US dollars, of which the financing plan, obviously that government will have to decide one large repayment out of this external debt service payment coming only October 2020, this repayment of one of the ISPs. This year we have raised sufficient amount of money to meet at least first few months of next year, so that we are in a comfortable position to meet the service payments of the government.
The circular on the regulation setting out the exact terms and conditions of the moratorium will be announced next week.
Now taking a look at news from your political arena, former Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne has been remanded until the 30th of December.
The Colombo Crimes Division informed the Colombo Additional Magistrate Salani Pereira that the former minister was arrested at 2:10 this afternoon. They requested court to remand former Minister Senaratne from being released on bail as it would hinder further investigations. Colombo Additional Magistrate Salani Pereira today visited former Minister Rajitha Senaratne this afternoon at a private hospital in Narayanpeta where he was receiving treatment. The additional magistrate who remanded the former minister ordered that he may receive further treatment with the presence of prison department officials. Meanwhile, MPs and relatives of Dr. Rajitha Senaratne visited him at the hospital today.
ඉතින් අද ආවෙත් මේක තමයි මේ බෙහෙතක් ගන්න ආවේ. ගිහලා එන්නම් ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා. මම යාළුවෝ බලන්න නෙමෙයි. යාළුවෝත් ඉන්නවා ඉතින් යාළුවෝත් බලලා එනවා. කොහොම සෝදු? මොන්දින් ඉන්නවා මහත්තයා. අරන මං ඉතින් මෙතන හිටපු ඩිරෙක්ටර්නේ. ඒ නිසා ආව බලලා යන්න ලිස්ට් එක දාලා රෝල බාරේ.
Warrants were issued to arrest the former minister on the 24th of December with regard to a media briefing convened to speak about white bans during the run-up to the presidential election.
Meanwhile, the 2 suspects who were previously remanded in connection to the white van media briefing were produced in court today. Colombo Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne ordered the Attorney General's Department and the Criminal Investigations Department to conduct a proper investigation and present facts to court, as legal action cannot be sustained on the facts that have so far been presented to court.
Atula Madanayaka and Sarath Kumara, who were arrested in connection to the White Van media briefing, were produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrate today. President's Counsel Vasantha Navaratna Bandara, who appeared on behalf of the suspects, inquired as to if a complaint had been lodged by the aggrieved party. The magistrate stated that the court does not see a requirement for the aggrieved party to file a complaint. The magistrate questioned the Attorney General's Department as to if action can be maintained against the suspects on charges of murder, kidnapping and robbery. Deputy Solicitor General Dilipitiyya said that a case cannot be maintained under those charges. Thereby, the magistrate ordered the Attorney General's Department and the Criminal Investigations Department to conduct investigations and file proper charges against the suspects. The counsel for the defendants stated that the same charges that were filed against the two suspects have been filed against former Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne. The magistrate again ordered the Attorney General's Department to file the relevant charges according to the proper procedure. The motion filed by the attorneys representing Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, requesting for the warrant issued for his arrest to be withdrawn, was rejected by the magistrate, who added that it was filed according to the proper procedure. The case will be taken up for hearing on the 6th of January. The magistrate ordered the Criminal Investigations Department to file proper charges on that date.
Now, the arrest of former Minister Rajitha Senaratne was a widely discussed topic in the political arena.
Our government did not appoint a new Attorney General. The acting IGP is also the same. The judges posted by the previous administration are still there. That's a law enforcement institution. They will examine the complaints that they receive and act accordingly if there are any justifiable reasons. Now, when a court examines an allegation against them and issue a warrant to arrest them, that court is no longer independent. But when they are released on bail, the court is once again independent. I am not sure of the criteria that they use. Now, I was arrested for abetting the misuse of state vehicles. I was held in remand custody for 3 months, but even until today, no case has been filed against me. They have only presented a B report.
In B වාර්තාවක් විතරයි. 2014 ජනාධිපතිවරණයේ කාලේ එතුමා ඒ පිරිමි ළමයා ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මගේ අම්මා උස්සන් ගියා. මතකද? මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මගේ අම්මා උස්සගෙන ගියා. මට මගේ අම්මාව ගෙන්නලා දෙන්න කියලා.
In 2014, during the run-up to the 2015 presidential election, a child comes and says that Maithripala Sirisena kidnapped his mother. Do you remember that? Then there was another advertisement that was aired on national television, where a mother whose son maintained relations with the daughter of Maithripala Sirisena said that her son was killed by Maithripala Sirisena. You might remember all of those. Those were very serious personal allegations. Although I may have political differences with Maithripala Sirisena, he could have taken action against these two serious allegations. We do not know if they are true or false, but he could have filed legal action against both of them and locked them up. He could have filed cases against them, but he didn't do it, did he? Verbal attacks are a common occurrence on the political stage. Also, who are the ministers who are advising the President and the Prime Minister to arrest certain individuals? This is political revenge.
Dr. Rajitha Senaratne කියන්නේ දොස්තරවරයෙක්.
Rajitha Senaratne is a doctor. He should have known who they are. One of them is a murderer. The other one is a thief. He does not know this. He did not investigate these matters. He has the right, freedom and the power to criticize a political matter. That's called freedom of expression. If he acted accordingly, this would have not happened. This is a good lesson for all politicians. Mervin Silva prefers to see the law being enacted on everyone similarly.
ඉරේවිලංගුවේ දැම්මත් දඟගෙයි දඩුවම් සිව්මැලි වැඩි නම් අලුගෝ සුවනේ එල්ලපියව.
A number of court cases were even filed against us. We never went before the leader of the party and plead. Because we knew if we had not done anything wrong, we will not have a reason to be afraid to come before the law. We did not give judgments from temple trees. We never called upon those in the magistrate courts. Attorney General's Department or the Commission appointed to investigate fraud and corruption and request to arrest or issue warrants to arrest certain individuals. We didn't fall into that level. The officers appointed by them will at one point confess. We are not going to say that Rajitha will be remanded or Champika will be released. No, we did not say that Ravi will be arrested. There were allegations. When the no confidence motion was brought, Ravi resigned. We didn't admit that Ravi robbed. They did. The police and the judiciary will decide on that. But Speaker Karu Jayasuriya should be more ashamed. During his time, people were remanded even at 12 midnight. Karu Jayasuriya was fast asleep then. He has remembered democracy only now. He is a democratic citizen with the influence of Europeans and their money. The people will teach him a lesson at the next election.
The All Ceylon Dhamma School felicitation ceremony was held today.
The event was attended by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. It was held at the Ithaperiyakulam Paraku Mahavidyalaya in Vaunia. The event was organized by the Department of Buddhist Affairs.
More than providing knowledge from books, a Dhamma school must focus on developing the personality and ideas of a child. The objectives of this is to produce a child who has good Buddhist values embedded in him. This is a time when we must be very careful of what we put into the minds of our children. We hope to conduct an investigation into the ideologies that are put into the minds of children through textbooks. We also hope to launch a program that will make Dhamma education more attractive to the children and the youth of this country.
Newly appointed chairmen of boards and corporations assumed duties in their respective offices today.
Attorney at Law Lalit Thium Pereira, who was appointed as the chairman of the National Lotteries Board, assumed duties at the auspicious time of 8:45 a.m. Jagat Vallavatta, the new chairman of the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, also assumed duties today. Attorney at Law Sagala Abevikrama assumed duties as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Ayurvedic Drugs Corporation today. Attorney at Law Kingsley Ranavaka assumed duties as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board today.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will visit Sri Lanka on the 13th of January of 2022.
Quoting the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, Russian media reported that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will come to Sri Lanka and India on a work visit. On the 14th of January, Lavrov will meet with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. He is also planning to hold talks with Sri Lanka Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Following Sri Lanka's visit, Foreign Minister Lavrov will visit New Delhi, India the next day to take part in the Raisina Dialogue Conference set to take place in the Indian capital on January between the 14th and 16th.
Well, with that, it's a wrap of Primetime News here on TV1. For News First, I've been John Fernando.
For the News First team, I am Rahna Farooq. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant night.